This podcast is brought to you by eBiz Radio, the place to go if you want to know about the world of business and the business of the world. For daily podcast and article uploads, go to ebizradio.com or follow us on Twitter at ebizradioglobal. My name is Nick Snow, and joining me for an edition of eBiz Insights is Hannl Croje, CEO of the Orion organization. Of course, Hannl, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me. I very much do appreciate it. Your motto is "The disabled are able," and of course, the Orion organization really providing support, hope, and all sorts of other wonderful things to as many as 3,000 disabled people who, of course, have passed through your doors since its inception. It's a wonderful privilege to be talking to you, and I very much look forward to the chat we're going to have today about the work that you do. So once again, thank you for joining me, and I think the most brilliant place to start, of course, is what the Orion organization is all about.
Thank you very much, Nick. It's a fantastic opportunity to be talking to you, and I would love to start in saying that our organization, Orion, started in 1982, so it's in existence for the past 33 years. And it actually originates from a need in the community for care services for people with disability, especially in the Atlantis community, and also areas like Pella and Mamre. And the need at that time was because there were so many people living with disabilities who weren't cared for properly. Then, they lived in the backyard of houses and they were hidden away by the family members. It was actually they were stigmatized. People were not recognized when they had a disability. To make a long story short, Mr. Siegel, who was originally from the Camper organization, he saw this need, and he decided at that time to start with a service to people living with disability. And the first place he identified for that purpose was in Magnolia Street, here in Atlantis. Needless to say, it outgrew its walls very soon, and ultimately land was then obtained right in the middle of Atlantis, which is close to the police station, to the shopping area, to the magistrate's court, and it's right in the center. And it was identified purely at the time for services to people with disability. We really grew beyond expectation, and at present, our services entail the following. We have residential facilities for 76 adult people with disability. They live in. Our residential facilities contain of 6 what we call group homes. So each home has a specific amount of people. One of the homes were redesigned to take older people, not elderly, it's not an old age home, but just special care for people who are slightly older. Then we have a facility for children, a daycare, for children from the community who come in. We pick them up by bus, we bring them in. They go through a therapeutic process, development at the center. Each child has the fortune of having his and her personal development plan, so we can actually see in what way growth takes place,
Wonderful.
and whether they reach their ultimate potential. Then we also have what we call an adult daycare facility. This adult daycare is specifically designed for those adults that are not functional enough or who are of such, their level of development is so low that they cannot operate in our work center. So they are kept busy also with therapy and activities that through which their development potential can actually be reached. And we have them entering this program in the morning and then going home in the afternoon. Half of those that live in residence with us are also in the adult daycare center. The other half is in our other department, which is our business development department, or what we can call our work center. Our work center hosts more than 100 people with disability that work here every day. And our organization is so fortunate. We have contracts with bigger companies like Impact, Hangerman, TRW, K-Tech, PowerTech, AMC Classic, Pacomo, who provide us with work containing of assembly, cleaning, packaging, all those type of kind of monotonous work that the person in the street wouldn't be keen to do. And we let our people with disability, it's kind of a production facility where they work on these contracts every day. And at the end of every week, each of them receives a stipend over and above the disability grant that they get. And the stipend is really motivating them to work. Because, if you're not working and if you're working and not getting paid, one actually really feels as if they are abusing your abilities and
most definitely
recognizing what you are doing. So these are the facilities that we make available to the people living with disabilities who are in our care.
I really love to hear that, because I think that the biggest part of dignity within ourselves is usefulness. And I think when a person lacks that degree where they may feel useful, or maybe they may feel unuseful, it can impact someone's development as a person, whether they be disabled or not disabled at all. Being validated as someone who can be useful is the greatest growth I think one can give to another person. So, obviously you've discussed now the wonderful work that the organization does, but tell me a little bit about why you think there is such a stigma in South Africa with regards to disabled people, and what can we do to help break that stigma, to show that people are able to contribute towards society no matter their background, no matter their circumstances?
Nick, that's actually such a good question, because lately, and especially in the community of Atlantis, we find that people with disability are stigmatized because disability was something which was seen as a curse, or you did wrong, and that's why you have a family member with a disability. And we need to be honest about the way people received disability in the past. People were hidden away because of the shame of having a disabled family member. Sometimes they didn't look good. They had special needs. They couldn't use the toilet as anybody else did. They couldn't eat in the same way. So instead of acknowledging the special needs, people were hidden away, locked away in actual fact. And specifically something that we see within certain cultures in our country. And it's quite funny, in Atlantis itself, we have a community of people that came from the homelands to live here. And when they've got a disabled child, they send that child to the family in the homeland, because the child needs to be cared for somewhere else where nobody sees the child. And it's such a pity that people don't have enough knowledge around disability. And we at Orion has now entered into this very fruitful project called Break the Barrier in this community. And we don't only work through the local newspaper, but also through the local radio station, whereby we share information on disabilities, the various kinds of disabilities, what people look like, or how they want to be treated. And we found that if we don't start with knowledge sharing, with orientation, with education on school level, people will never understand what it is to have a family member or know a person with a disability. I think it's a culture problem. I think it's something that originates from the past, where people were seen as strangers, funny, awkward when they had a disability. Lately, they are just as much a person, or like what we are, yet They're just a person with a different ability.
Yes.
And I love to say that a person is not a disabled person. They're actually a person with a disability. Because first of all, it's a person, and then they're a person with a disability. So the disability actually comes second.
And I think that really is such a wonderful point to make, is that these people, if we look at it, disability it's just a term, it's just a box that we've had to put people in to classify them, which I think is a wonderful not one of the wonderful things about human nature is that in order to understand things, we seem to want to put things in boxes. And, like you said, they are just people. They're just different from the rest of us. And it doesn't mean that they are incapable of doing anything else that anybody else is. They just have their duty on earth, and they know we need to find the stuff that they're able to do better than we can, because there will be something that they are more patient with, or have more time to do, or have more understanding of that maybe we don't. So I really love the work that you're doing. And one more question I'd like to ask you is, if people want to help change their perception of disabled people, what would you like the South Africans, Cape Townians, Atlanteans to do right now to start changing their perceptions?
I would love people to join hands with us, to visit us, to share with us, because I think I've mentioned so many times to people out there saying, ladies and gentlemen, please understand that we don't really want, we want your input. We maybe also, not maybe, we do want you to invest in us, but we also want your time. We want you to come in and spend time with us. There's nothing, really nothing that the persons, the people living with disability appreciate as much as they do appreciate your time, your attention, your just being with them. They don't stop talking about people who visit us, who come and share with us, who spend time here. And that's what I would love to put out there. Come and visit us. And also maybe use this opportunity in saying, inviting companies who do have those monotonous jobs that they have to pay thousands of rand for to able-bodied people. Come and have a look. We can possibly do it for you. And by doing so, we can actually generate work for more people with disabilities living in the Atlantis community. We will be able to rope them in, make them part of our community, because they get referred to us on a daily basis by the local hospital, the local office of the social development, and SASSA, because they are, when registered as being in need of a disability grant, they become citizens that sit at home and get involved in all kinds of strange activities because they're bored, they don't have anything to do. When we have work, they can come and work with us, and it enables them to become stronger and more decent members of the community.
Most definitely, and I think that's what we're all about. I think as South Africans, we know deep in our hearts that the only way we're going to lift up our country is to help empower everybody with a skill, with a job, so that we can definitely do that. So finally, Hannl, before I let you go, back to the wonderful work that you're doing at the Orion organization. If people want to get involved, if people want to donate, how do they get in touch with the Orion organization, and how can they become involved?
I would love them to contact us on the telephone number 021 572 8490. And if you want me to repeat it, I will do so. It's 021 572 8490. And if anybody would like to have a look at what we are doing, our website address is www.orionorganization.co.za. And we also have a Facebook address, which is Orion Organization. And we would love people to come to join hands with us, to walk the way with us in future, and by doing so, creating just a new life and a new future for people living with disabilities.
Well, Hannl, from our side here at eBiz Radio, we'd like to congratulate you and wish you very well for the work that you are doing. I hope that the listeners out there do decide to get involved. I'm sure that they will. And once again, good luck to you and the work that you're doing. And thank you for spending the time chatting to me today here on eBiz Radio.
Thank you so much, Nick. It was a fantastic moment for me, and I'm grateful that I could share this with you. And to everybody out there, let's join hands and make a difference in the lives of people with disabilities.